Fathers, how did your child change your life forever? My daughter was just 9 years old when one day she suddenly started running. And it wasn't just casual running around the yard. Every morning she would wake up at 6, put on her shoes without making a sound, and head straight to the road while the rest of us were still asleep. It surprised everyone because when she was little, the doctors had told us she might never walk properly. Her left leg had always been weak. She wore braces until she was 5, and even playground steps used to scare her. But now she was running like she had something to prove to the world. At that time, I didn't really pay much attention. I was very busy with my work, and I kept telling myself it was all for her and for the family. But every morning, while I was getting ready for the day, she was already outside that window, quietly focused on her running. One evening, I asked her why she did it every day. She looked up and said, "Because one day, I'm going to be the fastest." It sounded like a big dream, and I figured it might just be a phase. But then came the school track tryouts. By the time I got there, the race had already started. I stood at the edge of the field watching her push through, completely out of breath and finishing last. When I asked if she was okay, she simply said, "I'm fine. I just wasn't ready yet." From that day on, she trained even harder. She found an old stopwatch in the garage, started writing her lap times on the bathroom mirror, skipped cartoons to stretch, read about training online, and made herself weird smoothies with whatever she thought might help. I'd find sticky notes with numbers all over the house while I worked. She was focused on getting better while I was still lost in my routine. Then one day she came home quiet. She said the coach didn't let her on the team. I asked why, and she pulled out a wrinkled permission form. It didn't have my signature. My wife had accidentally thrown it out, and the deadline had passed. That night I called the coach and explained everything. He said the rules couldn't be changed, but mentioned a friendly race at the stadium in 4 weeks. It wasn't official, just an open run. I told her about it, and without hesitation she said, "Then I'll win there." For the next month, our front yard turned into her training ground. She ran sprints from the mailbox to the fire hydrant, tied resistance bands to the fence, and made me time her with the stopwatch, while she kept pushing herself every single day. Most nights she fell short, but the next morning she was up again without a single complaint. Somewhere in the middle of all that, something started changing in me too. I began showing up, not just holding the stopwatch, but actually being present. I stopped making excuses and watched her run. I always thought being a good father meant providing everything. She showed me it's more about being there. The night before the race, I found her asleep with her shoes still on. As I pulled the blanket over her, she mumbled, "I just hope someone sees me." The stadium was mostly empty, just a few parents scattered around and a couple of coaches standing near the track. As the race started, 4 girls immediately pulled ahead while my daughter stayed behind on the first turn. People were already clapping for the girl in the lead, but she didn't slow down. Instead, she started slowly gaining on them, closing the gap a little more with each stride until one by one, she passed every single girl ahead of her. By the final stretch, it was just her and one other runner, side by side, and with only a few steps to go, she leaned forward and crossed the line first. There was no medal or trophy, just a few quiet claps, and the coach walked over and said, "That was incredible. What's your name again?" She smiled and said, "Just the girl who didn't get picked." That night, she taped her lane number to the fridge. Then she looked at me and asked, "Do you think they'll remember me now?" I nodded and thought about everything she had pushed through, how hard she had tried, and how lucky I was to be there to see it. And from that day on, I never missed another one of her races.